Hey everyone, this is going to be a astrology forecast for November 3rd through November the 9th, Monday through Friday, for all 12 zodiac signs. I will put timestamps down below in the comment section this time around. Give me 1 second to set the live stream up. All right, all 12 signs, astrology forecast, November 3rd through November 9th. And I got the Taurus card out because we got the full moon in Taurus coming up. Okay. So yeah, we'll go ahead and actually get started with that. So there is a full moon in Taurus on November 5th. This could highlight security, values, your earthly reality. This full moon is going to be definitely the emotional anchor of the week ahead, because it's going to illuminate your self-worth. It's going to illuminate stability, um, resources, sustainability, things to do with food, money, possessions, the planet's well-being. For some of you, it's going to be highlight and illuminate body awareness as well. Taurus is like a fixed earth sign. So as a collective, we're going to be asked to slow down after months and months of like rapid cosmic change. And under this illumination, under this light, it's like humanity gets handed a mirror. And we need to realize, like, are we living in a alignment with what truly sustains us, or are we chasing illusions of some kind of security? So you guys, everyone needs to be expecting fluctuations when it comes to global markets, currencies, the food systems, agriculture. There's also going to be a lot of emotional spikes around scarcity versus abundance as well. And there's going to be a lot of people in the collective that's desiring more of like a simple life, more of simplicity here, wanting a calm life, a soft life, a gentle life, and being grounded in certain pleasures or resources. And then we got that Mars that's entering Sagittarius tomorrow on November 4th. And I think I was talking about that or something similar to that in the last astrology forecast, because sometimes certain things going on in astrology last longer than a week. So some, certain themes will keep popping up until it's outrun its course. But so Mars is entering Sagittarius tomorrow. This is going to expand our vision or clarity. It's going to be the collective fighting for truth as well. The Mars is like a planet of passion and assertion and drive and taking action. And the fact that it's moving into Sagittarius, both fire energies here, I think this is going to be a very powerful shift. It's going to be very intense, some sort of intensity into some sort of ideological fire. This could have to do with philosophies, with laws, with beliefs, belief systems, exploration. Let me see. Mars in Sagittarius. There could be a surge in debates. A lot of people debating things about truth, about freedoms, about ethics. There's going to be like a collective restlessness which is interesting because the moon being in Taurus is like asking us to slow down, but that Mars entering Sagittarius is like this restlessness, and it's like people are going to be wanting to move. They're going to be wanting to travel or explore new horizons, new things, new paths. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to have strong morals or strong political stances, people fighting for what they believe in. Some people are even going to be changing their beliefs. On the shadow side, there could be some sort of clashing with ideologies. There could be impulsive risk taking. There could be people that are being very impulsive, very in fight mode over what's the truth, or finding out the truth, revealing the truth, or knowing the truth, or disagreeing with other people's what they perceive as truth or something. It's like this energy of like truth wars with that Mars entering Sagittarius. And then you got the Mars also opposing Uranus in the middle of the week. So expect surprises, expect protests, expect breakthroughs when it comes to technology, global justice, social movements, things like that. Okay, this is definitely going to be like a revolutionary alignment. Definitely the energy of like freedom versus control. And then we got Venus that's entering Scorpio November 6th. Don't worry, guys. I will get in the zodiac signs here soon. I'm just going over the collective energy right now, and then we'll get into the zodiac signs. So Venus is entering Scorpio on November 6th. This is deep emotions, a very deep emotional energy, because Venus is all about love and art, just creative, artistic things and beauty and love. And then, with Venus being in Scorpio, this is Venus really diving deep. So like collectively, we are shifting from some sort of surface harmony with that Libra energy and shifting it into like emotional honesty, transformation, passion. So this is going to be a good time for intimacy surfacing, power dynamic surfacing, intimate dynamic surfacing. This could be in relationships. It could be artistically in a creative sense. It could even have to be with the economy. I mean, it could be different things, but there's going to be like this desire for depth and truth rather than being polite or focusing on appearance or surface level things. There's going to be like a global focus on hidden resources, hidden wealth, hidden secrets, hidden emotional truths, hidden psychology or psychology tactics, hidden shared finances. So very interesting. So, and then we also got the Venus that is squaring Pluto. So there's going to be like a collective pressure to transform what we value. No more superficial shit, no more superficial comfort. I'm even hearing no more superficial food. We're going to be craving authenticity. All right. And then we got the Uranus that is retrograding back into Taurus November 7th through the 8th. This is you guys collectively rewriting the material world, because Uranus is like the awakener. It's going to move back into Taurus retrograde and revisit the revolutionary changes that we've seen in our material world, in our material life since probably around 2018. Things surrounding our technology, or how we sustain our money systems, or even our food systems, even things to do with body awareness or body consciousness for some people. A lot of it's like the collective is going to be rethinking economic structures, rethinking environmental structures. There's going to be a lot of energy of innovation that's going to be, it's like innovation that's really returning to the basics. This could be something to do with your local economy. It could have something to do with, I heard like going green, like green technology or going green or something, things that are more sustainable for the planet. There's also this energy with the Uranus retrograde back into Taurus. You guys are a lot of people in the collective are going to be revisiting things, people, places, energies that were going on between 2020 to 2023. And then we got Mercury showing up and then doing its thing and retrograding starting November 9th. Which, don't forget, I do have the Mercury retrograde protection group ritual on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday on November 9th. All of the information on that is on my other channel, my main channel. So with this Mercury retrograde coming up on Sunday, it's going to be an energy of reflection, this pausing before you do something or pausing before you speak. It's like halting a forward motion. This could have to do with contracts, communication, travel. Like you're reviewing these things or reviewing the energy of these things. So with the Mercury retrograde coming up, you guys are going to be reassessing beliefs or belief systems, certain plans. It could be collective narratives. There could even be a situation where global media may face some sort of miscommunication storm or some sort of, like they may have to correct some sort of information due to miscommunication. And when it comes to like personally and socially, this Mercury retrograde is going to be a time to listen rather than speaking, listen rather than declaring. Is going to be very important when this Mercury retrograde starts on Sunday. So the overall like collective energy is like early on in the week, it's going to be fast. It's going to be impulsive. It's going to be electric. Mars is going to be igniting. Uranus is going to be shocking. And everyone's going to feel the urge to really break out, rebel, or just start something new Monday through Wednesday. Now, middle of the week, Wednesday through Friday, that Taurus full moon is going to ground that chaos. And it's going to show what's real and what's worth keeping. It's going to be a test of patience. And then this weekend, Friday through Sunday, this is going to be like deep emotional processing with Venus being in Pluto. So this could be you guys revisiting commitments, letting go of what's unsustainable. And then that retrograde motion starts to begin, and then it's a time to reflect and rebalance. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get into the zodiac signs, and we'll start off with Aries and end it with Pisces. Let me get some water really quick. All right, so Aries, tonight through Sunday night for Aries. So with that Mars entering Sagittarius on Tuesday, Aries, you're going to feel a surge of restless energy, maybe even adventurous energy. You may want to break free from routines and explore some sort of higher knowledge, or maybe indulge in some sort of travel ideas or planning. That full moon in Taurus coming up on Wednesday is going to invite my Aries people to really like reflect on security and values and like what you truly hold dear to you. This could be your self-worth. It could be physical comfort. It could be something about your finances. I mean, really anything. I feel like you guys are probably going to get clarity on something that's been holding you back. And in the middle of the week, when Venus goes into Scorpio and it's squaring Pluto for Aries, you may be facing some sort of intense feelings around relationships or money. Or maybe some sort of what you deeply desire versus something to do with control. There could be a truth that surfaces about how you assert yourself. And it's like as Mercury starts to prepare to retrograde, make sure that you're holding off on signing big contracts or big deals. Make sure you're holding off on committing to new projects or learning projects or committing to new communication or something until you've done some sort of second look, second chance, second reflection with something, second read through. And by the weekend, with Uranus retrograding back into Taurus, Aries, some of your external world, this could be your finances, your daily habits, your resources, is going to kind of shake up. Or maybe you're being asked to rethink certain things to do with your external world. I feel like when it comes to my Aries collective, Aries needs to be using the early part of the week for some sort of bold visions or visioning. But you need to make sure you're pausing any kind of major moves until you clarify your values with something, and make sure you need to be ready for some kind of shifts, some sort of shifts. Maybe it's actual work shifts, but I mean, it's something to some other kind of shift or change. Taurus. All right, Taurus is next. So tonight through Sunday night for Taurus. So since the full moon is occurring in your own sign, Taurus, on Wednesday, this is going to be a turning point for you. You're going to feel like you're in the spotlight, or either your needs, your wants, your identity, or maybe even what you stand for is in the spotlight. Something's definitely going to reveal itself to you as well. You're also going to receive something in a large quantity, which is a good thing, is what I'm hearing. All right, but sorry, sometimes I get psychic downloads while I'm looking at the astrology stuff. And then we have Mars entering Sagittarius, but it's opposing your sign, so there could be a compromise or boundary that may be needed. There may be issues that come up with your partner, or maybe a person you collaborate with, or maybe this is like issues with something you say publicly. Something's going on where you want some kind of freedom, but other people or a person or a partner want some kind of stability. So again, a boundary or a compromise may be needed because of the Mars entering Sagittarius while also opposing your sign. So, and then we have that Venus entering Scorpio. So you're going to be very much in a deeper emotional type of energy, a intimate type of territory. And it's like what you value in relationships may definitely intensify this week. And with the square to Pluto, this could be about transformations in how you relate or what you invest in. And then the Uranus re-entering Taurus retrograde over the weekend. So you guys, Taurus, you might reevaluate your sense of self and independence. And it's like something safe, quote unquote safe, in your life may suddenly feel too rigid or something, and it's being called for some kind of change. So you need to be embracing this full moon energy, expressing yourself, claiming your worth. Make sure you're being gentle with other people. And the opposition energy with the Mars entering Sagittarius opposing your sign, it's like you need something about a give and take energy rather than a push and pull energy. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to Gemini. So tonight through Sunday night for Gemini, with that Mars moving into Sagittarius, you're going to feel energized. You're going to feel energized to learn things, to speak, to communicate, to reach out. Make sure you're not being too blunt, okay? Because some of you may end up being very blunt, but you need to watch out for having like blunt comments. Because of what's going on with Uranus. See, Gemini, the Taurus full moon is happening in your 12th house. So this is things from the subconscious, the hidden, behind the scenes, things could surface. You may discover a certain pattern that you need or want to release. With that Venus going into Scorpio, it's moving into your second house of values and money. So you're going to be drawn to deepen how you earn or what you spend. So there's like some sort of intensity around resources. And then the Pluto square may highlight power issues related to money or self-worth for Gemini. And also for Gemini, with that Mercury retrograde on Sunday, your mind may be revisiting old ideas or past conversations or past learning paths. Make sure you're being flexible with travel, with study, and with contracts during the Mercury retrograde. And Geminis need to use this early on in the week, like Monday through Wednesday. Gemini needs to be brainstorming and connecting. And in the middle of the week, Geminis are going to be like shifting or needs to shift inward to contemplate what's been hidden. Maybe, again, something to do with a pattern that needs to be released. And then like towards the weekend, you're going to be deepening your relationship with what you value the most. Okay, so that's for Gemini. And so what comes after Gemini? Cancer. So Cancer tonight through Sunday night, with the Mars moving into Sagittarius, into your second house of values and finances. You guys are going to feel an urge to expand income, expand assets or self-worth. But that opposition to Uranus is going to be a sudden shift or surprise in finances or maybe some sort of value structure that you have. And then the Taurus full moon is actually landing in your 11th house of friendships and hopes and dreams and groups, and things like that are going to be illuminated for you. And it's like, what role do you play with your friends? What role do you play in these groups? What role do you play in your own hopes and dreams, Cancer? Like, are you aligned with your community and your goals? Like, this is what you're going to be focused on or asking yourself. And then with the Venus entering Scorpio, moving into your first house of self, you're going to be in transformation mode. This is how you show up, how you attract others. This could be about your personal style, your personal aesthetic, your energy. So you'll be focused on that with the Venus in Scorpio. And then the Pluto square is going to be like deep internal change around identity for my Cancers. And then with that Mercury retrograde at the end of the week, this is going to be something requires review. A self-presentation could require review. Something to do with your communication style could require review. Make sure that you're avoiding rushing changes in how you present yourself for my Cancers. My Cancers need to be focusing on aligning your values with your identity. Make sure you're keeping one foot grounded. You're going to have a lot of inner and outer shifts this week, Cancer. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to Leo for tonight through Sunday night for my Leos. My Leos need to be harnessing that bold energy. But you need to be tempering it with reflection, because this week's arc moves from an active push early on into some sort of introspective energy later on. Because when Mars enters Sagittarius, it's going to land in your first house, and you're going to feel assertive. You're going to feel like you're a pioneer. You're ready to initiate new projects, fresh starts. But then the Mars-Uranus opposition is going to warn Leos of stepping too fast without actually being ready. So make sure you're pacing yourself. Leos need to pace themselves this week. And then we have the full moon in Taurus, which is going to fall in I think it's going to fall in Leo's 10th house. I hope I'm reading this right. I'm so sorry. But this could be a public or professional matter that may reach its peak. Completion, recognition, deciding on like your next leadership role, or next your step into some kind of leadership here. The Mercury retrograde could affect your public image or some sort of long-term goals, so make sure you're reviewing them rather than launching the big new ones. I also feel like this Venus and Scorpio, you're going to be drawn to like inner emotional work. This could be you healing behind the scenes. For some of you, you could have a secret affection for someone, or someone has a secret affection for you, Leo. But the Pluto square is going to heighten some sort of breakthrough. So like I said in the beginning, harness some sort of bold energy, because you're going to have a lot of energy in the first part of the week. I'm not gonna, let's see. Hang on one second, because I hope I'm not reading the house part wrong. 1 second. I'm still new to this, so hang on. We're about to do Virgo in just 1 minute. I just hope this forecast I'm looking at is not like, shit. Hang on. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to Virgo. I'm going to try something. I'm going to go to a different website. All right, so Virgo tonight through Sunday night. The Mars in Sagittarius, I feel like you guys are going to feel driven to really clear out old stuff. Maybe you guys are like cleaning out clutter or something like that, getting rid of stuff, but you're going to be clearing out old stuff. I mean, it could even be energy, but you guys are going to be releasing and recovering some of this energy that's been lingering around you. It's like a subtle energy or subtle things, but at the same time it's potent, and it's like you're clearing out old things, old stuff, old energies, releasing things, or recovering things for Virgo. And the opposition to Uranus and Gemini is going to bring some sort of work or health surprises. And then the full moon in Taurus you guys are being asked to broaden perspectives. Maybe this is with travel or higher learning. Maybe it's with philosophy. Something's going to collect in a positive way for you, or something about sealing the deal. Something about the full moon in Taurus is going to seal the deal for Virgo with something. Or you're going to be collecting a lot of something in a positive way. And then we have the Venus and the Scorpio. So this is going to highlight like your friends, your networks, your networking, your hopes, your dreams, your relationships with groups. What do you want from your soul tribe? Like things like that is going to be really important to you. But the square to Pluto may provoke some sort of power dynamic in friendships. And then with the Mercury in retrograde, Virgos are going to probably be revisiting their belief systems, their study plans, their future hopes and dreams. And so early on in the week, Virgos need to be leaning into service, focusing on some sort of internal mystery as well. And in the middle of the week, shifting to some sort of outward growth. So this weekend for Virgos, you're going to be very focused on your friendships and your networks, or your networking. All right. We got Libra, Scorpio, and Sag, Cap, Aquarius, and Pisces left. All right, give me 1 second. I need a swig of water. Oh, someone says they're a Taurus moon. This is your time. It'll probably affect you greatly then. All right, so Libras tonight through Sunday night. Okay, with the Mars going into Sagittarius, you guys are going to want to go after your dreams, big plans, networks. Networking is going to be important as well. But with the Uranus opposing, you need to expect surprises regarding friendships or groups or technology or communication. And then with the full moon in Taurus, this is going to activate your shared finances, your intimacy, your transformation. Libra, there's going to be deep emotional or financial revelations that could arise for you. You're going to be focused on letting go of what no longer serves you with this full moon in Taurus. And with the Venus going into Scorpio, I'm going to try not to focus on the houses too much. With Venus going into Scorpio, this is going to be a time for a relationship between your values, or maybe your public role with something. And then the Pluto square is going to stir up ambition or control issues, or maybe even power plays or power dynamics. And then with that Mercury retrograde, this is going to be the week that is really best for reviewing rather than initiating a major new public persona shift for my Libras. So Libras need to be balancing their ambition with some sort of inner work. Libras are going to be focused on their friendships and networks. Or something about your friendships and networks may be maybe a catalyst for change if you're ready. Let's see, Scorpios. All right, with Mars entering Sagittarius for Scorpio, you guys are going to feel motivated professionally. You're gonna feel ready to stake some sort of territory, possibly to do with career or reputation. But there's going to be that opposition to Uranus that could bring sudden shifts to how you work or your status. And then with the full moon in Taurus, this could actually trigger your relationships or your partnerships, your one-to-one connections. You're going to be focusing on what do you really want from a partner. And then with the Venus entering Scorpio, this is going to be focusing on your values and desires around travel, philosophy, and just your overall growth. Things like that's going to deepen for you. And then the square to Pluto is going to be transformation in what you believe, Scorpios. And then the Mercury retrograde that's coming up, you guys are going to be revisiting contracts, revisiting collaborations, partnerships, rather than signing new ones blindly. And so I feel like for Scorpios, your partnerships are going to be highlighted, or just matters regarding partnerships. For a lot of you, it's romantic. It's also business. It's also work. It's just partnerships with everyone around you will be highlighted. And a lot of you guys are going to see how your professional drive aligns or even conflicts with your relationships, and make sure that you're seeking depth and not surface level things as well when it comes to partnerships or relationships. When it comes to Sagittarius, big week for my Saggies. Because tonight through Sunday night for Sagittarius, this is going to be a big week for you because of the fact that Mars is entering your sign on Tuesday. Is going to be giving you drive, initiative. You're going to have very visible focus. Everyone's going to be able to tell that Sagittarius are focused this week. But you need to take note with the Mars-Uranus opposition early and avoid impulsive moves, especially regarding relationships or responsibilities. And that full moon in Taurus is going to trigger something to do with something you need to wrap up with at work or with health. You guys are going to reevaluate your daily routines or maybe even how you serve other people. And then with the Venus entering Scorpio, this is going to be focusing on your shared resources, your intimacy, and definitely transformation, regarding legacy, debt, money, power dynamics, power plays. These things are going to be things you're focused on, Sagittarius. With the Pluto squaring, this is going to be like deep changes are going to be possible for my Saggies. With that Mercury retrograde on Sunday, make sure you guys are avoiding over promising in personal transformation work, or maybe even intimate contracts with people. Something about it's better to revise something than to launch something brand new. That could be with something you're doing personally or something you're doing with someone else, or it could have even something to do with business. So Saggies need to use their natural energy to really, because you guys are going to have a lot of natural energy with Mars being in your sign. So you need to use this energy to boost the set of your pace early on in the week. But it's like middle of the week, you need to be shifting into some sort of deeper inquiry. And it's like by the weekend, Saggies are going to want to pull back into something to do with service or something to do with health. I don't know if some of you are service workers or health workers. That could be highlighted for somebody here. And then we're going to move on to Capricorn. So tonight through Sunday night for my Capricorns with the Mars and Sagittarius, you guys are going to be drawn to broadening your horizons with study, with travel, with ideas. The Mars-Uranus dynamic may bring about shifts in your beliefs or sudden insights. And then we got that full moon in Taurus, which is going to activate your creativity, your romance. Something with children could be highlighted as well for Capricorn. You guys may see some sort of something in fruition regarding a creative project or something to do with you being in a spotlight, or maybe this is a moment of romance or happiness. So that's good. And then with the Venus entering Scorpio, maybe Capricorns, you guys might end up, like, what you value in a relationship could change or shift out of nowhere because of the Venus entering Scorpio. And with the Pluto square, this could highlight some sort of transformations in how you relate to people, or just like what you expect, maybe from yourself, maybe out of others, something like that. And then with the Mercury retrograde, it's going to be really important for Capricorns to revisit relationship agreements rather than signing up for a new relationship agreement or binding yourself to someone new or something like that. So Capricorns, you need to balance and blend your expansion with some sort of pleasure this week. You know, let the growth and flow of ideas and fun come into your life, and meet that energy with some sort of transformation that helps your partnerships or a relationship. Let's see what else we got. Aquarius and Pisces left. So tonight through Sunday night for Aquarius with the Mars and Sagittarius, this is going to be intensity around shared resources, deep transformation, finances, maybe something buried comes to light. And then the Mars-Uranus axis could trigger sudden changes in these areas. And then with that full moon in Taurus, this is going to trigger your home life or your family life. You may actually complete something at home or see a family matter surface. And some sort of emotions are going to help come to some sort of conclusion with something to do with home or family. Or family matter or home matter. With the Venus entering Scorpio, something about your values, like you're focusing your values being around service or daily routine, or something about these things are evolving for my Aquarians. And then the Pluto squaring kind of raises questions on power in the workplace or control in the workplace, or maybe even about a health routine or health thing that you do. And then with the Mercury retrograde, this could be a good time to revisit your work habits or your health, something about work habits and health habits or routines. The Mercury in retrograde is going to be a good time for you to revisit your home and family agreements as well, instead of just starting brand new plans regarding home and family. So you're going to be digging deep this week, both internally and externally, balance some sort of transformation with some kind of self-care for my Aquarians. And then with the Pisces, the last one we're on is Pisces. So tonight through Sunday night for Pisces, with the Mars entering Sagittarius, Pisces, your partner, your relationship, your partner could become very active, or maybe it's something to do with someone you're collaborating with. Something that you have going on with someone is going to be active. But with that Mars opposing Uranus, you need to anticipate surprises, or there's this need for freedom versus some kind of something to do about closeness. Maybe this is causing some kind of tension. Goodness. And then with the full moon in Taurus, this is going to light up the energy of communication, maybe something to do with siblings, maybe something to do with your local environment. This could have something to do with messages, talk, gossip, neighbors, siblings. Make sure you're speaking your truth, Pisces, this week. Speak your truth this week. Especially if you have the opportunity to speak your truth, make sure you're taking it. With the Venus entering Scorpio, this is romance, creativity, something with children could also be highlighted. Maybe you guys will feel drawn to express yourself more deeply or take creative risk. Or maybe you guys are healing your inner child. Or maybe you're doing something creative or playful with the children you have or something like that. That could be for someone. And then that Pluto square is, deep transformational love or creativity that's coming about. And then with the Mercury in retrograde, Pisces is going to be revisiting creative ideas. Planning around things centered around love or partnerships, or centered around children or family, things like that. Maybe some of you are reconnecting with a child or adult child. Maybe others of you are reconnecting with a partner, a lover, something like that. Maybe you guys are rekindling something to do with a creative idea. But the Pisces, this week is a week of connection for you, whether it's with a partner or whether it's with your own inner child or your children, or maybe it's your creative self. But Pisces needs to be playful this week, okay? You guys are going to be playful, or you need to be playful this week for Pisces. So you guys, as a collective, make sure you're slowing down during the full moon. Listen to yourself, listen to other people, listen before speaking, listen to your senses, listen to the planet, to the earth. Make sure you're, this week as a collective, releasing material fears. Make sure you're staying flexible, because that Mars Uranus can bring a lot of shocking things or just shocks. And the antidote to the Mars Uranus energy is knowing how to adapt. It's adaptability. That's the key here. That's the antidote. That's the medicine. Knowing how to adapt, learning how to adapt, adapting accordingly. Everyone this week needs to be reflecting before they react or before they speak, because with that Mercury in retrograde, it's really asking a lot of us to pause and to listen before reacting or speaking. And a lot of people are going to have to choose depth and more meaningful things over something surface or surface level. And with that Venus in Scorpio, it's going to be demanding emotional truth from everyone in the collective. So that's what I'm getting mainly here. Hang on one second. Let me add a couple people as a mod. All right, cool. So I wanted to double check and make sure some things I was looking at was correct, and they were. Okay. That's why I kept pausing earlier. Because I use a couple of different websites to look at like the daily graph, where you can see like the planetary positions and transits. You can really see like where the current planets are. Yeah, so everything was correct about the houses earlier. I just want to double check that before I go. Because even though I'm doing these forecasts, there's still a lot that I'm still learning. So we're all going to be learning together. And hopefully we'll have fun with this too every week. Because I want to do this every Monday. Like every Monday, I want to do a astrology report for the week ahead. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And I will be putting timestamps down below in the comment section. It'll probably take me a minute because that's like 12 timestamps. So just be patient with me. But I will do the zodiac timestamps down below. So I love you guys so much. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.